thank you. Well, you've heard from the American sponsorship of the program. Now it's time to hear from you. And everyone in this room has a story, and every one of you deserves to be here to now tell that story so we can savor every minute of it. Because of our time is so limited, the staff have selected 2 of you to present at this point, but they in many ways represent everyone here. First is YES alumna Nada Bouker of Tunisia. Nada spent her year as a YES student, hosted by Academic Year in America, in Troopsburg, New York. Now, not everybody in this room knows where that is, but for those who don't, Nada was placed in a small country school in western New York State. She was there with students who were part of an Arab American community, in part, as well as a larger community. And in some ways, because our country has many, many heritage communities, it's one of the great, rich aspects of this strange country is that we're all immigrants, right? We all came ultimately from somewhere else, except for our tribal peoples. And in this case, it happened to be an Arab American community, and there the trick was both engaging the community and reaching beyond. Nada did a remarkable job. Let me tell you some of the things she did. She could actually, if she wanted to, just stay put and hung out with the Arab Americans, speaking Arabic all the time, right? But that's not what she did. She knew she had to get beyond the group. She reached out to many, many parts of her host community, giving dozens of presentations about her home culture and country to elementary schools and throughout the school system, to houses of worship and to community organizations. She volunteered over 100 hours during her time, including work in food pantries, soup kitchens, and assisting a young woman with Down syndrome after school, and finally taking care of a pet cemetery. She is a leader in all that she attempted to do, and I'm happy now to introduce her to you to say a few words about her program. Now,
has anybody ever thought of the reason we are called exchange students? Has it ever crossed your mind that if nobody from the US goes in exchange for us to our home countries, why is it called an exchange? If we take some time and think about it, it makes perfect sense. It is the most accurate term to describe the amazing process we have all gone through. The word exchange has change in it, and change is indeed indispensable. As Roseanne Cash once said, the key to change is to let go of fear. Our change mode was activated the minute we decided to come to the US, spending a whole year where nothing is familiar. The journey was possible only thanks to the Department of State and the United States government that continues to fund the YES program. My name is Nada Bouker, I'm from Tunisia, and throughout my year I have experienced oodles of new things, made zillions of memories. When I first applied for the YES program, I was a 16-year-old teenager who barely knew anything about America. But now that I'm only a few months away from my 18th birthday, I could not be any more happier with the outcome of my experience and how much I grew and changed during this year. Looking back to 10 months ago, I still recall the first time I met my wonderful host family, my local coordinator, and the first time I fell in love with my favorite American food, chicken wing pizza with blue cheese. I instantly knew that this was going to be a year of change, and the changes I went through were filled with challenges, surprises, achievements, and also few disappointments. The first challenge of the year was cross-country. Joining the team seemed as great of an idea as getting involved in after-school activities and getting to know new people. I can definitely say it was the hardest choice I have ever made, because I really didn't like anything about the sport at first. I did all my best though. The coach's encouragement kept me going. I was so close to quitting, but now that it's all over, I'm so glad I did it. I learned not to give up on the other teammates, and that as long as I was trying my best, my efforts were highly appreciated. Softball is a whole other story. Being a member of that team has taught me a whole lot of different things. I not only loved the sport, but I also knew the real meaning of teamwork. When I first started, I didn't even know how to catch the ball or how to hold the glove. By the end of the season, I was a much better player. Although I didn't get to play in most of our games, I realized how much cheering for my other teammates meant for them. And I learned that it doesn't take a fully experienced person to be part of a team. And that winning is not the only important thing, but the relationship that we had as a team is what really counts. Throughout the year, I have joined Academic All-Star Team and Flagline. They were both great experiences. Things like that taught me more about myself and what I am capable of doing. It taught me that there's nothing wrong with doing things out of my comfort zone, and that it was my only chance to do so. Being an exchange student has opened doors of opportunities for me that I could have never had or done if I was still back home in Tunisia. I would have never imagined myself tossing a flag up in the air and catching it without getting hurt. As they say, practice makes perfect. I have also been inducted to National Honor Society, which was a terrific achievement for me. It was mainly based on leadership skills and community service, which I have done more than 100 hours. Finishing my 100 hours of community service was a pleasure and sheer feeling of accomplishment, rather than a heavy burden. During winter season, I devoted my after-school time to helping in the elementary school. Winter was a little girl with Down syndrome. Spending time with her did not only help her mom do her schoolwork for the following school day, but it also did benefit me too. Seeing how every small thing meant to her and made her smile, and eventually made me smile too. Even playing hide and seek was such a big pleasure to her, just like any other kid. I remember one time I was helping with another teacher in the elementary school, and Winter's mom came to me and told me, "Winter was really happy that you came and played with her yesterday." Such things just make her day. Another of my favorite community service was food pantry. Helping one time turned to be a monthly commitment. Doing that always reminded me of the holy month of Ramadan back home, where people given help, not asking for anything in return. It always made me think that there is more similarities than there is differences, and that people are people just wherever you go in the world. Every single time I did community service, I learned something new. And the best part about it was always getting to know somebody, talking to them about the YES program and myself. Doing community service taught me how good it feels like to give back to your community and to show your appreciation in a sustainable way. My year was not only filled with blissful times, but also some disappointments, which is only natural. Being placed with 6 other exchange students was such a privilege in such a small school. But as it was hard for everybody to find their path, especially in the beginning, we made mistakes. We all had something in common, and we did not use it very wisely. We were 5 Arabs who would gather during lunch period, and all we would do is speak in our native language, not being aware of how damaging for the program that actually was. We didn't realize that it seemed like we were excluding others. We were punished for that by getting warning letters, which at the time was really disappointment. However, that did not mean we could not make up for the bad things we have done. In the long term, we have all realized our mistake and tried to fix it. I have learned that even adversity can be a great teacher and that we should not be discouraged by it. The only way I got over that was by overlooking the bad side, rethinking it, seeing how it affected me as a person, thinking that I did gain something from it, that punishment is only a bad thing if you don't learn from it. If you keep doing the same mistake over and over again, I finally recognized it as a process. Workshops like the Civic Education Workshop, the Workshop for Youth Leaders in the Teaching of English, and other opportunities open to all YES students if we only apply ourselves, are such wonderful opportunities to learn more and grow. Having been selected and having participated in the Civic Education Workshop, I can only think of how important such workshops are and how effective they are in fostering that change in us. I personally gained leadership skills, learned about several different cultures by meeting students from all over the world, learned to be more tolerant and accepting, all during CEW week. To put it in a nutshell, being an exchange student is by far the best thing that could ever happen in a person's life, and the biggest change you will ever go through. That change is both simple and profound. It is as simple as having a home, a friend wherever you go. It's those memories and scrapbooks filled with pictures and newspaper articles, things that in a million years you never thought you would have done. Through exchange programs, you learn how small the world is and how big your goals are. It is profound in that you start realizing that sooner or later. We are going to be the future leaders. And a leader does not have to be someone with a powerful name or a famous name. A leader is not only a president or a captain. A leader is someone who thinks and acts, who sees things from different angles and from different perspectives. A leader is someone who accepts the other. We are going to be the future leaders, the ones that will achieve world peace, because we know we can and we will. It's you and you, and yes, you too. You are all going to make a difference. Thanks to the YES program, we will all keep building bridges to enlighten the world, to share, to exchange, and to know and care about other cultures. There is no better way to sum up what I have been saying other than this quote by Margaret Mead. Never believe that a few caring people can't change the world, for indeed, that's all we'll ever have. Thank you. Thank you.